I know they say that beggars cannot be choosers, but if you're going to get an email rejection from a job, it would be nice if there was a little bit of difference between the emails that you receive. It seems like every single company has the same exact template, and none of them make me feel good, warm, fuzzy inside. And many of them you have to read through for a couple of paragraphs just to get to the point where they're rejecting you. There's all this filler, all this fluff, and it's just like, if I'm not gonna get the job, just let me know. And then on the other side of things, for jobs you didn't apply to jobs that probably don't exist, you're gonna get spam emails. And I have one of those spam, fraud, scammy kind of emails that I received myself actually a couple times from the same different company until I finally marked them as spam officially so that they'll go to the junk inbox. And I'll share that with you later on this video as well. But let's start off with LinkedIn, where Alessandra says, I received an after careful consideration email 5 seconds after sending the application. Sure, careful indeed. And then Oscar responds to that saying, exactly. It sounds so disingenuous. And that's the thing. Don't say it's after consideration or after careful consideration if it's going to be on a timer that is sent out. Now, I know from applying to so many jobs, most of these jobs have like a 2 or 3 day timer where you'll apply and then 2 or 3 days later, you'll get a rejection email. Probably almost everyone, if not everyone, is getting the rejection email because these jobs don't really exist. They're just posting it to data mine, to steal your information, to sell your information, or just to collect resumes like Pokemon, as someone on LinkedIn said. And you know it's not after careful consideration. And this person is saying about 5 seconds. Well, it might not be that quick, but after 30 minutes, an hour, 2 hours, you're not carefully going through all of these emails, all of these resumes that you're receiving. And if you go through in a block of a couple hours time and you apply to these jobs and maybe write them down or put them in a spreadsheet and then wait, like I said, 2 or 3 days, you'll see one after the other, the email rejections come in. Now that's not after careful consideration because they're not looking at these resumes at all. And yes, it does sound disingenuous to say after careful consideration, we value your skills, blah, blah. That's not gonna make any of us feel any better. Just say, hey, you don't meet what we're looking for or something else, and or that we filled the position or that you never really had a prayer or a chance at getting this job. That would probably be the most honest thing you could possibly say in a rejection email. And that response was to a post that Oscar on LinkedIn put, and he originally said, Dear HR and recruiters, the moment I read after careful consideration, I stopped reading. Why? Because I already know what's coming. A generic rejection template with zero insight. And after taking the time to fill out endless forms, tailor a cover letter, and jump through hoops, that empty response feels like a slap in the face. But I'm not just here to rant. I believe in solutions. So here's a simple one. Template rejection emails with actual value. Instead of the same bland line sent to 100 plus applicants, how about this? Template number 1 to the first 100. After careful consideration, we felt your portfolio didn't stand out in this round. Brutal? Maybe, but at least it's something to work with and much better than the generic template giving you nothing. And I've never hired someone, but I have to imagine that there are different levels and phases to the applicants that you receive. There's got to be that first pass where it's like, you don't meet the minimum requirements. And I feel like that is something that you should be able to say back or say, you did not meet the requirements that we were looking for in the job posting. That could go to the people who were clearly praying and spraying. That could go to the people who were just applying anything that they could see. Or that could go to the people who didn't carefully look through the job posting and their resume is just not a good fit. And I think that's fair, and I think that could actually be useful for someone who receives that, because then they could be, well, maybe I need to customize my resume more. Maybe I'm applying to jobs that I'm not a good fit for. Or maybe I am a good fit for this, but my resume doesn't tell my story properly and doesn't show my alignment to what the company is looking for. That way you could be honest and give useful feedback, and that person could receive the honest feedback or at least something that they could use to make an adjustment, to make a tweak going forward. Oscar continues and he says, template number 2, to a stronger 30. Your portfolio was strong, but we couldn't determine from your CV whether you're the right fit. That's a prompt to improve your CV. Template 3, for the top 5 who nearly made it. You were a close match, but we chose someone whose experience was more aligned. We encourage you to apply again. Let's take a pause there. I don't know if you would need those in this scenario, 3 different rejection email templates. I feel like 1 and 2 are very similar. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. But the third one definitely is good. I think there should be one where it's like, you didn't read this job description based off of the resume you sent me. This doesn't make any sense that you applied to this job. And then a second one where it's like, you did a good job matching your resume to this job posting. I can see that you're a good fit, but you're not exactly what we're looking for. You did a good job to match the job description. And yes, this is the kind of job you should be applying for, but we just decided not to bring you on for an interview at this time. Because I feel like that's what it is. Either you are nowhere close to a good match for the job you applied for, or number 2, you are a good match, but maybe you're missing 1 or 2 things that we're looking for. Maybe it's Salesforce experience, maybe it's Oracle experience, maybe we want you to have experience in like an Epic database, something like that. But there's maybe 1 or 2 things that you're missing that in this job market, we could find someone who matches the job strongly like you do, but they meet the exact requirements as far as the software and the knowledge that we want you to have. So I think those would be 2 fair buckets to send out in rejection emails. Now I know that the companies aren't going to do that because they don't care. And at this point, some people would say, why should they? It's an employer's market and they're going to get hundreds and hundreds of people from every job post. So why treat people right? Why do the right thing? It's not like your legacy or your brand name or how people think of you is important at all, right? Who cares, right? Oscar continues with, it takes a little more thought, but imagine the goodwill you'd build. Applicants might walk away disappointed, but not feeling disrespected, or worse, absolutely ignored. Just a thought from someone who's been on the receiving end too many times. And I got to imagine there's people who apply to jobs over and over again at different companies and keep getting rejected and keep getting the same basic rejection email. And it's like, this is a company I'd like to work for, but I've been rejected so many times, I might never apply again. And that might hold over a 6-month, 1-year period, or God willing, 5 years from now, maybe when the job market is better and maybe the tables turn again and it's more of a employees market where we can go and we can have multiple job offers and pick from the company that we want best. You might think back to a time like this where a company treated you poorly and you're like, you know what? They didn't want me back then. Now I don't want to work for them. I'm going to choose this other company. And these companies could really miss out on good talent based off of how they're treating me right now. They could miss out on good talent in the future. And it could be one of those, back then they didn't want me, now I'm hot, these employers are all on me. Well, if you didn't want me back then, during whatever recession, depression we're in, don't come at me and saying I'm a great fit now. I can see a lot of good, talented employees steering clear of employers who are treating people this way, who are creating fake job posts, who are sending out these cold, heartless rejection emails, who are ghosting people after in-person interviews. I mean, people are going to remember this throughout their career. And they're going to remember it for their own career, and they're going to tell their friends, they're going to tell their families, they might get on social media and tell it. And this is really short-sighted to have such cold, inhumane communication with people who are trying to land a job at your company. And Tina comments on this post and she says, it's just better to say, unfortunately, your applications hasn't been shortlisted. Or maybe you fix the grammar and say, unfortunately, your application hasn't been shortlisted. Anyways, let's continue. Then give a long email that also includes competition was strong and other candidates will be taken forward. Get to the point and don't insult someone by saying their skills were not strong enough and others were more worthy with comments as above. That was really hard for me to read. I really wish people would proofread their comments a little bit better, but I think we all get the gist. Just say, hey, you haven't been selected to the next round. Don't give people false hope, because if you're saying everyone's experience is strong, basically these rejection emails are templates. So you're either saying nothing helpful at all, because if everyone's resume is strong, if everyone is a good fit, if all the competition was strong, then no one really stood out, right? Everyone was about equal, and there's no rhyme or reason behind why you're choosing one person over the other. Just say, yeah, you're not being chosen for the second round. Thank you for taking the time to apply. I think that's a fair enough response. Next, I want to share an email I received from, I don't know what. Let's just dive into this though, because this is a real laugh right here. The email says, your job application has been shortlisted. Final step required. And this is from a company I didn't apply to called Lux Royale Endeavors. And the email is mail@hire.lever.co. So I don't know what lever.co is actually, but it doesn't match with Lux Royal Endeavors. And I don't think I've applied to any of these companies. And I don't know if Lever is just like a greenhouse or a board like that. I don't really remember, but they've sent me multiple emails, and if this is how this job board is doing business, then I don't want to do business with them. It says, you're receiving this message because you applied for this role through LinkedIn, Indeed, or our career site. And let's just take a pause right there. Number one, you got to check the email addresses. With a lot of emails that you receive, it'll be hidden or whatever. So you're going to want to, before clicking on anything, before sending anything, before replying, even if it's a real company name, you want to go and expand the email address that it's from to see if it is a spam. Say you get an email from Salesforce and they're looking to bring you in for an interview. Number one, you probably won't get an email from a company. You will probably get a call. So that's kind of red flag number one. And then number two, you want to look at what the email address is. So I don't know exactly what it is, but let's say the real email address would be careers@salesforce.com. If you expand the email and it says salesforcecareers@gmail.com or .yahoo or something that you know would not be an email address that you'd get a email about a job from, then that would be your second red flag. Third on here, they can't tell me where I applied to. So it could be from LinkedIn, it could be from Indeed, it could be from the careers. Like, it's kind of a wide net to just say, hey, these are most likely the three best options that someone would have applied to. So let me send them an email out and cover all my bases so that people think that, oh, well, I didn't apply on LinkedIn, but maybe I applied on Indeed. So maybe this is legit. Let's continue. This message is from Lux Royale Endeavors, LLC, operating under the recruitment brand Apex Talent Solutions. Now, Apex Solutions is a staffing agency in which I've worked with before, and they've actually placed me in a role previously. But this is the second time I've gotten some kind of spam related to them and their organization. So it's apparently a staffing company that is not making money anymore on placing people. It's making money on selling my information. I think previously they were featured in a video when I was talking about how there's no real recruiters left, and they're just going through and saying, hey, this next step of the interview process is going to be via a chat or you sending information over or something like that. And now they've apparently sold my information to Lux Royale Endeavors to go down a similar slope. So Apex staffing agency, couple of years ago, we're staffing people. Now they're just selling your information out. So maybe be wary of them, because this is the second time I've gotten some suspicious email from them, and I don't like what's happening lately. The email continues and says, thank you for applying to Apex Talent Solutions for the remote data entry clerk position. We're excited to let you know you've been shortlisted for the next stage. Before we can proceed, we need to complete a quick identity verification step. And that is already another red flag. Like, you need to verify my identity for what? But I guess if you are already ready to offer me a job on the spot without talking to a human, I guess all the rules are out the window. But let's continue. Step 1. Begin your secure identity verification. Takes 2 minutes, mobile recommended. Basic identity verification and a link, which you definitely should not click on. Works best on your phone, recommended. Now, I don't know if it's because most people log into their banking account on their phone and that would be the easiest way to steal your data and your passwords. Not really sure. This verification is used as a remote background and identity check, similar to what HR departments use. It confirms your name, location, and public record. It's a soft credit check and has no impact on your credit score. If the main link doesn't work or gives you an error, please use the backup link below, and the backup link with another link. So a real company is going to perform a background check that you don't need to do anything for. I mean, I guess you should probably give them the okay and the permission to do that, but you're not going to have to do it yourself. You're not going to have to click on links in an email to perform a legit background check. And I got to imagine there's 2 different links for you to click in case maybe your ad blocker, your spam protector blocks the first one, then maybe the second one can get through whatever protection you have on your phone. But, and also they're going to run a soft credit check. Now, I don't really remember applying to a job like this, and I sure didn't apply to a job at that specific company. And now they're sending me an email saying, hey, everything's all good for this job you didn't apply to. Here's a bunch of links in an email to click on. All kinds of issues and problems with this one. It continues with some important steps, such as, for best results, please complete the verification using your mobile phone. This step must be done through our secure system. External reports, PDFs, screenshots, or third-party sites aren't accepted for compliance reasons. If the link doesn't open, try incognito mode or another browser. Another way to get past any kind of security you may have on your information. You can also copy and paste the link into your address bar. Here's where it gets really good. As if there were not more red flags than a beach during a hurricane, we have a $1 authorization starts a 7-day trial. You can cancel anytime between day 2 and day 7 to avoid any additional charges. If you run into any payment issues, using a different card usually works. Okay, so I'm clicking on links, you're taking my information, you're taking passwords, you're taking my logins to my banking account most likely, and you're making me move heaven and earth to be able to give you all my personal information from 2 different links in the email. If those links don't work, copy and paste it. And if all that doesn't work, go into incognito mode. And now I'm going to have to pay a $1 authorization. And so now you have access to not only probably my banking account information, but now you have direct access to my credit card information that I'm giving you. I'm giving you my credit card number, my my credit card billing address, my secure code on the back, all that kind of good stuff. And in addition to that, I'm not only going to give you 1 credit card, I might give you multiple credit cards that I have. I mean, wow, they are not being discreet at all about trying to steal all of your information in this email. And keep in mind, this is just information and keep in mind, this whole ball got rolling by me applying for a job. This is not me trying to buy cryptocurrency or, send money to the disposed former prince in Nigeria. Like, this is me going out here trying to apply for a job, and this is what is happening as a result of that. And there was a lot going on in step 1, but don't worry, there's a second step in this whole process. Step 2 is confirm availability. Once done, reply with the subject, my availability. Include 2 to 3 time slots for a quick 10 to 15 minute onboarding call. Job overview, role, remote data entry clerk. Pay $30 to $35 an hour. Type full-time or part-time, remote, yes, start flexible, pay schedule bi-weekly. This is an entry-level role focused on organizing internal and client data. Strong attention to detail is essential. If you already completed the verification, just reply with my availability and your time slots. We look forward to reviewing your next step and getting to know you better. Best regards, Emily Parker, Recruitment Coordinator, Lux Royale Endeavors LLC, recruiting at Apex Talent Solutions, Emily at apextalentsolutionsinc.com. Now, I don't know what the heck is going on here, and I don't know if that is Apex official email. Maybe they have apexsolutions.com, and this is a company trying to impersonate Apex Solutions. Like I said, it used to be a legit company. Now it seems like their name is being dragged through the mud. I don't know if this is the actual company doing this or if this is someone just trying to steal their identity and then in fact steal my identity. But all of this, you're gonna have all my credit card information, all of my banking information. I'm throwing everything away. I'm risking it all for $30 to $35 an hour. But people see this and like, I want a remote job. It's impossible to get a remote job. It's impossible to get an entry level job. It's impossible probably to get any job is what people are thinking. So people are unfortunately gonna fall for this. Hopefully you see this video, you don't fall for these scam tactics. Share this with a friend so that they could see it. Share it with someone else looking for a job because there is so much predatory movement going on here to steal your information, to put you in a rough spot, and just preying on desperate people simply looking for a job. This is what is happening. You're not getting responses back from actual people who are supposed to have actual jobs. You're not getting called up for interviews. No. You're kicking someone while they're down and while they're struggling to make ends meet, you're stealing all their information and putting them through even more hurt and even more turmoil. And this is not what the job seekers are supposed to be going through. They're supposed to be getting interviews and follow-up calls. Instead, they're getting their identity, most likely, and credit card information probably stolen. And you can't even trust a staffing company that is supposed to do the right thing and land you a job. But let me know what you think about these comments that we went over today, this email that I received. Have you received a similar spam email? Let me know down in the comments below. Talk to you later.